So this is part 2 of the ultimate Emek build. Part 2 because, part 1 I posted last week. It's kind of an introduction. If you want to watch that, there's definitely a link in the description to the part 1 of the ultimate Emek build. But in this part 2, we're going to talk about the Emek itself and kind of why we're using it. We're going to discuss the body kit that we're going to use. We're going to use some aftermarket eye covers, a different back cap, going to change the feed neck screw. We've got a really cool tool kit that goes in the foregrip, and then we're going to finish it off with the Field 1 Acculock Barrel. So here is our Planet Eclipse Emek that we're going to use for the build, kindly provided to us by Planet Eclipse. And some of you guys actually may notice that this is one of the original or older versions of the Emek. Really, it came from one of the first couple batches. You can tell that because it does have that selector switch safety. So that safety you actually have to rotate to make it work. And all the newer guns are going to come with the updated safety that are actually a push button safety. That's the same that's coming on the EMF 100 from Planet Eclipse, the magazine fed version of that Emek. So it's just push button, you push it and it's just a safety. It's just a little bit nicer, maybe a little bit more robust than that selector style safety. Hence kind of why they've switched over to that push button. But everything about this is still Emek, right? It's still using glass reinforced nylon, so that body is still very robust, really solid feeling. It's not aluminum, but I really like these bodies and are just really solid. Planet Eclipse really haven't had any issues with them. Still mechanical, so it's still, mechanical, not electronic. Also has that gamma core that Planet Eclipse has really been known for. We'll pull that out of there really quick. Just take a quick look. It's not really made to be, quick removable, but if you don't over tighten it on there, you can kind of remove them pretty easy. But gamma core, they're really, awesome bolts, really low pressure, shoot very well, and kind of have the performance of a high-end gun. That's one of the main reasons that these Emeks have become so popular. It's just that really good shot quality and performance from that gamma core. So that's the Emek, just a quick look at it. That's what we're going to be using for this, and then we'll talk here now about, what body we're using. I was looking at the stats of this channel the other day, and a lot of you guys watch these videos and aren't subscribed. It's weird, so subscribe. So the Emek is fantastic, mainly because of that affordability, that $250 price, the gamma core, and I really actually like the glass reinforced nylon stuff. But they do look kind of lame, so one of the coolest things that Planet Eclipse did was make the file available so you could 3D print actual bodies for the things. So what I did was contact Committed Paintball and got them to send me one of their twister bodies. And it is sweet. And I've always liked these twister guns from Committed. Committed have made these twister style paintball guns for quite some time. They've most recently done it with the Go4, but they've done a CS2 and the LV1. They've done a lot of stuff. I've just been a huge fan of that look. So that's kind of why we went with the Committed and the twister body for this thing. But we also went with the matching eye covers and back covers. Back cap, I should say. So the eye covers, you can kind of see have that gnarled side on them. So maybe a little extra grip when you're putting your hand or your thumb on the side of the gun. And then the back cap I like a lot, mainly because you can kind of grip it. It's just a lot easier to turn and rotate. So taking the bolt out, if you don't over tighten the thing, it's just a lot easier. But because it's kind of like a fin, you got a top and a bottom side to it, you do got to kind of align it. So you can see right here when I went to install it really quick, I do have to realign it, which really isn't hard. I just, don't want to do it in the video. So these next 3 things are kind of just things that make the Emek just a little bit easier to use. So because it's kind of a budget paintball gun, it's not coming with all the cool, nice things that some of the higher end guns come with. So the Emek does not come with an on-off ASA. So taking the tank off, you kind of just have to screw it off. There is no on-off to easily shut the air off. So what Planet Eclipse have done is made the pops on-off available for the Emek. So with this Emek, Planet Eclipse were kind enough to also send me one of these pops on-offs, which like I said, just makes it, taking the tank off and on easier. Installing the pops on-off really only takes 20 to 30 seconds. It's an extremely easy thing to do. And if you guys aren't familiar with that pops on-off, they're also extremely easy to use. So that name kind of helps describe how the thing works, right? So you really just push this little silver button on the side and it kind of pops forward and the air's off. And then just to turn it back on, you just push that little bar back forward and you got your air on. So it's very easy to use and kind of, I think, maybe a necessary upgrade for some Emek users. So taking that hopper on and off is also kind of easy because of that adjustable and like lever feed neck that's coming with the Emek. But making like very fine tune adjustments to like the diameter of the feed neck, you got to use an Allen wrench. So what Super Stanchi Customs have done is made a stainless steel thumb screw, so you can just make little adjustments with your thumb to the feed neck rather than having to like pull out an Allen wrench and, you know, make those adjustments. I really, really, really like this. It's probably one of the best upgrades you can get for the Emek. They're only $7, so it's like, you kind of can't go wrong with the thing. They're very, very useful. Also from Super Stanchi Customs is a tool kit for the bottom of the foregrip. This is also something that's just extremely slick, very clever, and I like a whole lot. So on the foregrip on the Emek, there's really nothing inside of it. It's just hollow. So it's really just a foregrip. So this toolkit kind of just slaps into the bottom of the foregrip. So you remove the bottom cap on the foregrip, and then you would replace it with this toolkit. So the toolkit is two pieces. One goes inside the foregrip, and the bottom piece kind of comes off, and they're held together by magnets. And on that bottom piece, you can kind of slot an Allen wrench right in there, and then it just slides into the foregrip. It's extremely clever, a very good idea, mainly because you know, you want to be able to change your velocity. It's extremely clever and a very good idea. Because I'm always like putting an Allen wrench like in my pocket when I'm going to radar and then losing it. And then every time I play paintball, I swear I lose an Allen wrench. So having a good storage place for the Allen wrench, like in the gun, kind of where I'm not going to lose it, where I need it all the time, is freaking awesome. And the last thing we're putting on the outside of this today is going to be the Field 1 Acculock Barrel. So the Emek, like I said, is, you know, fantastic. It comes with that Gamma Core bolt system, shoots wonderfully, but the stock barrel is just awful. They're very loud, very cheap, it's a huge diameter, so they're pretty bad. I mean, you could get away with using all the stock stuff on the Emek and it's going to be great for you, right? It's not like you really need all these upgrades, but the barrel on the Emek, it's pretty awful, so you really need a barrel. And the Field 1 Acculock barrels the last couple of years have been absolutely fantastic. They're made extremely well, have a bunch of different sizes. You can get them in a gloss black, or we're doing here in the dust black. The cool part about the Acculock barrel is that the back and the barrel tip don't actually screw together. I mean, one thing we can kind of see on some of these barrels is when the threads are actually screwing together, the barrels aren't lining up perfectly. So on the Acculock, rather than screwing the pieces together, they kind of just butt up and align themselves. It's a very neat idea, kind of helps reduce that offset from the barrel tip and the barrel back. It also helps eliminate like paint getting in underneath the barrels because that's such a tight fit. Acculock barrels, I mean, they're just fantastic. They're made well. It's made in the United States, which I freaking love. Field 1, owned by Dynasty guys. That's the best barrel you can buy. So guys, come back next week for part 3. Part 3 next week, we're gonna talk about more performance-oriented stuff and like maybe some upgrades that could make the Emek maybe like a little bit more air efficient, maybe rate of fire a little bit higher. We're gonna put a different bolt in the thing. We're gonna discuss the Hair 45 valve from Deadly Wind, and then install an aftermarket Infamous trigger. So come next week, part 3, subscribe to this channel by now.